Hey dear friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope this video brings you a lot of smiles. For today I'm bringing such an amazing plant for you. It can be grown in mugs, cups, small bottle craft hangers, bigger pot, be grown as a ground cover plant. Yes, I'm talking about tangled hearts. It is a plant that is native to Africa. Look at the beauty of this plant. Small heart-shaped leaves hanging across those pink vines. They are really beautiful and cheerful with their look that reaches the floor. Now, this one I have grown it as a ground cover in this small hibiscus planted pot. This particular plant, it's a succulent hanging plant. It is something that's easy to care for as well. When it comes to watering, it likes to have water only when the topsoil is dry. It doesn't like to sit in water for a long time. Now and then you need to mist the leaves of this plant, because whenever dust sits on the leaves of this plant, the leaves look little duller. So to make sure the leaves are clean, you need to mist them. When it comes to soil, they like to have well drained potting soil, good combination of compost. You can add charcoal content in order to keep the soil well drained. When it comes to sunlight, of course, it doesn't like too much of sunlight as it's a succulent plant. It likes to have an indirect sunlight, and it also likes to sit in shade. Now, talking of the propagation of this plant, it's such a plant you can have too many babies of this plant. It's easy to propagate, and I'm going to show how to propagate this beautiful. Now you can see this one. The vines are so healthy looking in this pot. The plant is trying to creep everywhere possible. I should tell you one thing. This particular plant, I have grown it in this pot just with one string of tangled heart, just one string. So it is that easy to care for. Now look at this one. I am going to propagate into a hanging pot. I want this pot to be full of this tangled hearts. So the soil is quite well drained. It's dry enough to hold this plant in a good condition. Now, to propagate this one, you just need to take a string of this plant and go on putting it onto the soil. It is such an easy to grow plant that you need not take too much of stress by inserting the stems into the soil and doing all that circus. You just need to go on putting that on. Make sure they are touching the soil, the strings are touching the soil the way I am doing it. Just pluck the strings, put it on the soil. You need to make sure the surface of the soil is little bit wet and not too much of water content. Yes, I'm plucking this string. I'm happy to have so much of strings into my heart, because finally I'll be having so many of strings hanging out of this hanging pot. Yeah, this is how you keep them. In order to have a good hanging tangled hearts plant, while you propagate, you need to make sure you are having a healthy cutting in your hand. You need not have something that is turned yellow, or something that is having a fungal attack, or even the leaves might have turned black because of too much of direct sunlight. You need to avoid these kind of strings, because when you propagate, I'm sure they will not have a successful propagation. You need to make sure you are taking a very healthy cutting. See, this is how you keep. And I'm also taking out those dead leaves, because once you have those dead leaves, the whole string will certainly die out later on. Now you just need to make sure they are sitting well on the surface of the soil. Now this one is a small tiny red pot, because they look beautiful when they fall from that tiny hanger. Look at this one. I'm just inserting small pieces of these strings of hearts here. Yes, this is how you do it. As this is a small tiny pot, I'm trying to insert the stem inside, because it's quite difficult to round those strings into this pot. So I'm trying to insert the stems. Once you do this, You can keep this tiny pot in window shelf, or you can also tie a thread to this and hang it under a tree. Probably that gives a different look for you, the hanging. Because they love shade, you can definitely put it under a tree, which I do the same. Look at this one. You can make this one completely fuller into the pot, because when they hang from all the sides, it gives a different look. The vines, the pink vines, they give a very distinct look. Yes, this is the speciality of Tangled Hearts. I think I bought this plant just for 20 rupees, and since then I think this plant has been with me for the last 3 years. Out of that original plant, I have been propagating these plants again and again every year. During winter season, this plant is going to die out a little bit. For that, you need to keep it under such a place where it does not receive too much of cold weather. Yes, in the seasons of summer like May, June, you need to make sure it doesn't get too much of sunlight as well. Now look at this one. The pot is almost full. Now probably within 15-20 days you'll find the hemming out from all the places where it has been rooted. Yes, this is how you do this one. It is an amazing experience to have propagation of tangled hearts or propagation of any plants. Yes, you can put this one in your window shelf, or you can hang this one. It's a tiny hanging plant now. I hope you all loved this video. I hope you're going to get this plant for yourself. Have a very good day.